Hello and welcome to the vlog. Jasmin has now left me, gone back down to London, so I'm on my own again. Today a fairly short trip, only about 4 or 5 miles, but there are 6 locks in the way. There's one lock on its own and then there's a flight of 5. And where I'm trying to get to is the facilities point so I can top up the water again and empty the toilet cassette. So we'll see how we go. First things first, I needed to head out of the final bit of the Stoke-on-Trent suburbs. I was moored at Milton, and that's pretty much the edge of town, after which it goes into the Staffordshire countryside. I was told there's a good local butcher's shop if you follow the sign on the bridge, if that's your kind of thing. Long-standing viewers will know I do envy a house with a garden onto the canal. It must be great to sit out here watching the boats on a summer's day. Out into the countryside then, and more typical canal scenes. The Caldon doesn't let up on its narrow bits, a theme that extends the whole length of this canal. It's not long until you approach Engine Lock, which has a decent long stretch of moorings below it, a nice spot that I used on the way back, a rarity for the Caldon. There was already one boat in the lock and another waiting to go up, so I hung around for a bit, breathing in the fresh air and saying hello to passers-by. That's what you do on the canals, although conversation was sometimes drowned out by this squadron of noisy birds. Eventually it was my turn to go into the Fountain of Wonder. Sorry, I mean the very leaky lock. And amazingly, I even remembered to wipe the camera lens, albeit with my disgusting handkerchief, which possibly put more muck onto the glass than the water it took off. That done, I was on my merry way past the local wildlife. More possible moorings above the lock it seems, though I didn't try stopping here. But a new peril awaited, a lift bridge. But as luck would have it, this one is electronically and hydraulically operated, and the controls are on the towpath side, so it's easy enough to moor, open the bridge, take the boat through, moor again, go back and close it. It's all very straightforward, and there are clear instructions, though you do need your British Waterways key. Luckily, this is not a busy road, just a driveway really, so there was no traffic to get angry at me and give me all the verbals for holding them up while I faffed about with the boat. Done and all closed behind me. The next one would not be so easy. I know I've been moaning on about the Caldon's tight bends, but this is a prime example. A quick toot should suffice, and all was well. Here's the lift bridge that's not so easy when single-handed, because it's hand-cranked and, as always seems to be the case, the crank is on the off side. So once you've opened the bridge, you can't get back to the boat down the towpath because you've opened the bridge. What you have to do is go up to it with a bow rope to keep a hold of the boat so it can't drift off while you open the bridge. There's the crank, wound with your standard lock windlass, and it lifts the bridge like this. You can see that if the boat was tied up on the landing stage, on the towpath side, I wouldn't be able to get back to it once the bridge is up. It's good exercise for my wheezy old lungs. Next I jumped back onto the boat and shimmied up the gunnels to the back so I could bring the boat through. Immediately you're through, stop, so you can clamber off the back onto the offside and close the bridge. Again, take a rope so the boat doesn't drift off. Bridge closed, windlass and ropes all back aboard, you can set off again. Wow, what a monumental pain in the backside those things are. Back to more conventional canal fare just a short distance further along as you reach the Stockton Brook flight of 5 locks. A good start, with the lock emptied and the gates opened for me by virtue of this boat coming down. At the top, legend says this mysterious carving was made by aliens 3,000 years ago. Off to set lock 2 and a chat with a cheery pedestrian. Up and away. Just after these imposing industrial pipes is the entrance to the 3rd lock. I thought I'd come a cropper here, as the pound above the lock looked very low on water, and I had visions of the boat grounding out. That's definitely about a foot down on where it seems it ought to be. So very gently along in case the base plate started to stick. It was odd that it's low, given the vast amount of overflow coming down that bywash up ahead, but the boat didn't ground, so all was well. The bottom gates at the next lock are practically new, though you may not think it. It just shows how much wear they get from being wet and then dry and hot and then cold all the time. Look at that. But these were built just a year ago. I did a video about how lock gates are made, and I'll leave a link to that in this video's description. Let's get this one done. That's 4. And just the top lock left. After this next lock, I'll be on the canal summit, which is apparently 484 feet above sea level. Five locks done and dusted. Now to find somewhere to stop and hopefully pick up some supplies. The ducks appreciate the half-sunken wrecks. They make a nice perch. With the locks done, there's a decent stretch where the engine can be given some revs and progress made. What is it with narrowboats in fields? Speaking of finding a mooring, fat chance under this lot. Yes, that is the towpath side where you're supposed to be able to stop. It's a lot like this all the way down the Caldon. And this is novel, a mid-canal obstruction, which the sign clearly directs you around. I like to imagine there's an unexploded World War II mine down there or something. Gives you that little frisson of excitement as you tick past. The local boat club has the use of that private arm, and on the same corner, bliss, a long stretch of moorable space within walking distance of a convenience store. So I stopped here. That's it for this one. Cheerio.